What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Andre King coming at you today, and I want to briefly just talk about one of the most challenging certifications that's out there, and that of course is the CISSP. But I don't want to talk about all the details that goes behind obtaining the cert. Actually, I want to talk about what it takes to keep the cert. This exam has 250 questions and it costs $749 to take. But do you actually know how much it costs a year just to maintain it once you've got it? Well, today I'm going to actually discuss 5 things that you may not know as it relates to keeping and maintaining the CISSP. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and get it. So your CISSP certification is actually good for 3 years, but that doesn't mean that you have to pay your dues every 3 years. There's actually a cost each and every year. As you can see here, my cycle actually expires the end of October, and I started receiving these emails back in August. Same thing every year. So these emails will basically just let you know, hey, it's time to pay up. So once you pay, then again, your clock cycle renews and you're good. You basically won't get these emails anymore. But basically it's not a one-time fee every 3 years. It's actually $125 every year to basically maintain your certification in a status of good or satisfactory. So $125 each and every year is part of what it takes to maintain this certification. Next up is not really something that it takes to maintain, but I won't say a privilege, but something that's kind of unique about CISSP. This is actually my original certification that I received back in October of 2013. And as you can see here, the cycle is actually 3 years. But what's unique about this is every 3 years, if you satisfy those requirements, you actually get a new certificate, but it's actually updated and looks a little bit different. So this again was my second one when it was renewed for another 3 years, 2019. Couldn't find 2022, but again, this one actually is going to be good up until 2025. So pretty cool. Again, something that is a byproduct of maintaining those or meeting those satisfactory requirements. So other than paying the dues, the next thing that really is the most time intensive and the most responsibility is actually earning those CPEs. So there's actually a handbook for actually knowing how many continuing professional education or abbreviation CPE that you may need, but that depends on which of these certifications that you see here that you have. So this suggestion here in the first column for me, CISSP, I recommend that for group A or group B that I get this many each year, but really this counts at the end of the 3 years. They don't like you to get all 120 in that third year, but you can actually in that third year go back, and for me 2025 is my current cycle. So for 2023 I can actually put the courses or different professional presentations or conferences that I went to, but I try to keep everything sync in the year. And like I said, it's October, so for me, I'm actually getting into that right now. Not going to bore you with all of these different examples of what can be done. Numerous opportunities, white papers, conferences, as you can see, on the work job. If you've presented something at work or spent time getting a paper ready that's research related to one of those 8 domains, that actually can be submitted, and they, if approved, they'll count those credits there. But a slew of information, and this guidebook is really quote unquote the official way to know which one of those CPEs are going to be counted. So from the membership dashboard, or for my actual CPE portals, we see that we can, this is where you would submit any documentation or notepads here. So let's, for example, say I wanted to input something or training that occurred on the 11th, and let's say that it went through the 13th, then I would actually click next, and the information for that, depending on the category, again, reference the handbook, is gonna basically be here. So if I had, for example, professional development, this was a conference that I attended, I actually have to put some specific details. And for some of these, if it's a class or a curriculum, you have to actually provide the artifacts for that training, the number of credits or hours, and again, this is the supporting documentation. Once I submitted that, it will take some time. Sometimes it's within the same day, but maybe up to a week before, back in my dashboard, I see whether it was approved, denied, or whether there's more supporting information that's needed. If I go back to members and my dashboard here, we'll actually see that for me, I've only got 2. And like I said, this is October. So for me, this is me getting ready to do my end of the year submittal for everything that I have there. The cool thing is that for the 2 that I did submit it, there's actually a magazine that comes out every 2 months. And it's about 20 pages, give or take 3 or 4. And there's a quiz, 10 questions, that at the end of each of those, you get 2 credits. So these are, I won't say free, but they're pretty low-hanging fruit, 12 credits that you can get at the end of each year. Again, not sure if they still do that, but that's an easy one. And before we jump off here, another real quick one here is actually these skills builder that you see here. There's some that for course membership, maintaining it, you get these trainings for free. So if we were to click on something here, it's actually a video that typically will play, but again, to tell you how many credits that you can get, if we were to click on free for members and watch this entire video and hopefully gain some knowledge from it, then at the end of that one, for these, it's pretty much the CPEs will automatically load. You don't have to type anything there. So there's a lot to maintaining the credits, but those are the 2 primary things that are to be concerned about: the pay, the annual fee, the CPEs that according to your certification, which particular one you have, there's a certain number of credits that you have. And the third thing is really just maintaining your integrity throughout this entire process. Another cool thing that I want to speak about really is, let's see if I go back up here to members, and again my member dashboard, is that each and every year for the board of directors, being a certificate holder, you actually can vote for open spots on the board of directors, which is pretty cool. I got, well, it's not about me, but having Cisco, PMP, AWS, Azure, CompTIA, just different certificates. This is one that I don't see other vendors do. And so it just gives credence to your voice and lets you know that you have a say and a stake in the future of the organization. So if we go here, we can see that meet the candidates. This is where we get to see that, I won't say whittled down, because each of these 63 candidates deserves a nod for just making it that far. But these are the respective candidates, the country that they are from or represent, and a little bit of bio if we were to click read more on one of them that we can get here. And then going back one more time, I'm not going to do this, I'll do this offline, but this is where, again, being a member or certificate holder, that you actually get to cast your vote. Again, reading the instructions first and then going to the ballot. So just something cool that comes along with maintaining your certification there. And then the last thing that I want to just briefly touch on is just, again, just being a part of a community. I got a whole tab that's named communities, but really there's so many ISC², I call it, but ISC2 chapters that are spread all around, not just the United States, but around the globe, for you to join a chapter. You see the statistics here and the number of members there. And even if you want to start your very own chapter, there is an application here. You could click on this and join or start your very own chapter. But if you're somewhere in Kansas or just somewhere where you don't think there's anyone there, I mean, just click on, like, let's say United States. Just click on a state, and your closest chapter's there if you want to visit in person or just engage and feel a part of community remotely. Anything that you can contribute, knowledge-based experience, questions, or just being in the midst of other like-minded folks that share the same passion and spirit is pretty cool. So for me, Virginia, I know it's really DC area, but there's a Northern Virginia chapter, or NOVA. This is actually the chapter that I belong to. Quantico is literally 9 miles up the road from Fredericksburg here. So it's just pretty cool to see that you can be a part, not to say a segment, but a smaller part of the entire community, and have folks that support you there and are receptive to any thoughts or information, knowledge, anything that you want to do, being a part of that community. So those are just very quickly 5 things that, like I said, I know most folks say that this is one of the hardest certifications to get out there. And again, I know these CPEs are something that aren't the hardest, but like I said, it's not a free ride just to, like 20 years ago when you had the Security Plus. People call it being grandfathered now, but you passed and you had it for life until they came out with that Plus CE one. And so you get a lot of vendors, or most if not all now, that have this annual due that you have to pay to basically play. So it's just good to know what comes along with getting a certification. Again, congrats to anyone out there that's ever even just tried or attempted or taken a certification test like this, or really any other one, because it just really goes to show that you're putting forth the effort and the thirst and the desire for more knowledge. So kudos to each and every one of you out there. If you want to know more about CISSP or any of these certifications, I'll definitely drop some links down below in the description. But for each and every one of you out there, I just want to thank you again for rocking here with me today. So as always, until next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves, peace.